Hey, thanks for joining me today. So, I decided to put a video together today about the mastectomy process, bras and breasts, basically. And my whole experience and what I went through. Everybody's experience is different, so you may hear other things by someone else, but this truly is what happened to me, and as honest and truthful as I can possibly be. I just want to get the information out there. So, as mentioned before, when I first went through breast cancer in 2014, I had a double mastectomy. My breast cancer was only in the left side, but I chose to have both breasts removed. And so when you have when I had the right side removed, that was considered the healthy breast. That's called a contralateral mastectomy. Basically, you're removing a good breast with one that has evidence of disease. So I went through that process for all kinds of reasons. It was basically an easy decision for me. I was never really attached to my breasts, not that I didn't like them or anything like that. I was always a woman that had really good self-esteem about myself, like so many other women. Breasts just weren't my asset. I had other things kind of going for myself. Like everyone has something going for themselves. Where you have great legs, a voice, personality, fabulous hair, lips, whatever it may be. So getting rid of my breasts was like, okay, let's just do it because I don't want to deal with this anymore. So that's what I did. And immediately I had reconstruction. So at the same time I had the mastectomy, I had tissue expanders placed by a plastic surgeon. So there was two surgeons working on me. It was like a 7-hour surgery that I went through. And so tissue expanders look similar to breast implants, but they're a lot more firm and they're filled with saline. At the time mine were placed in, they were filled about 250 cc's of saline. And yes, in the plastic surgery world, everything is done by cc's, not by size. So I can't go to the breast surgeon and say, hey, I want to be a 36, 38, 34, whatever. Everything is pretty much done by cc's. So that kind of gave me, I guess, maybe a small B at the time. And then every few weeks, or whenever I was up to it, I would go get filled anywhere from 50 to 100 cc's at the time because they're trying to stretch the skin. Now, when you have a mastectomy, they're removing all the breast tissue, so you could have quite a bit of skin to fill up. Ultimately, 2 months later, I ended up with about 700 cc's. I walked into Nordstrom's to get sized at that time because none of the existing bras I had could fit. Plus, when you have implants and whatnot, regular bras don't fit. There's a lot of fitting you need to go to. I heard that's the case even when women go through regular implants that have nothing to do with cancer. So I walked into Nordstrom's, met with a prosthetic specialist there. This was just, I just showed up randomly, so I didn't have an appointment or anything. And one of the first things the woman that I worked with told me was, I need to call my insurance to see if they'll cover bras. And no one had ever told me this before. And I said, what do you mean? She said, call the insurance, and she gave me a code. So I'm going to give you this code. You might want to write it down. The code is L as in lemon 8000. That's L 8000. And if you're in the medical world, you know that all medicines, procedures have HCPCS codes. They're universal health codes for everything. So if you call your insurance and say, hey, do you cover prosthesis? They may give you the runaround and say, oh, yeah, we do, without giving you specific information, so you really don't know. But if you give them an actual HCPCS code for anything, wigs, whatever it is, your insurance can tell you if they cover it. Another thing you want to ask is how many. So the insurance company that I had at the time, Cigna, actually covered bras after my deductible was met at 100% unlimited per year. That's right, unlimited per year, fully covered after my deductible was met. And trust me, going through cancer and surgeries, you will meet your deductible instantly because it's very expensive. So I did at that point make an appointment with the prosthetic specialist, and I still had tissue expanders in, but I was filled to my max, which was 800 cc's. And I ended up getting 4 bras, Waco bras, and another company known as Amona, very popular. They come with inserts. Any bra in Nordstrom's, they can add inserts in. And here's One of the bras, a really nice pink bra. These were, I measured at a 38D at the time. So those bras were 38Ds, unlined, so there's no wires in these bras at all. It wouldn't matter anyway. I couldn't feel anything. Once you go through a mastectomy, everything is numb. You don't feel anything. And I also got camisoles. Camisoles were covered. I got one in white and one in black. They have inserts in, that's why they're covered by insurance, because not everybody decides to do implants and whatnot. Some women decide to go flat. Our flat sisters, they decide to go flat for whatever reason, and that's great. It's everyone's own personal decision. So I walked out of there with about 6 different things: 3 bras, 2 camisoles, and also it was a surgery bra that you can wear drains in. And then once I had my final surgery, I went back 6 weeks later and got my final fitting, which I measured at a 38 double D to a 36G. And I got really nice Waco bras, some Chantel, really pretty Chantel bra, and also a company called Freya, really nice Freya. This is a 38 double D. The Chantel bra was a 36G. This is also, this is, I think, a Waco bra, which is a 38 double D. So I walked out of there with about 6 bras when it was all said and done. And I'm going to tell you something, I didn't pay a dime. Not one dime for these bras. And basically, you might wonder, why did you go to Nordstrom's? Well, when I called my insurance, they told me their preferred provider was Nordstrom's. Wow, that's just awesome, right? So what Nordstrom's does basically is they act as a medical facility. They have you fill out a ton of forms. They bill the insurance. They do ask for a credit card to put on file in case there's a shortfall or something happens. They'll bill your credit card. That never happened in my case. So basically, I made 2 trips in 2014 and got free bras and camisoles, and it was fantastic. So definitely, if you're going through this process or know anyone who does, please, please, please have them call insurance to see if their bras are covered. Code is L8000. That just makes everything so much better. When you may wonder why pre-implants I was filled to 700 cc's, and afterwards I was so much larger, and it was because the final implant was an 800 cc, and when your surgeon goes in, you have that surgery, they bring in about 3 different sizes. So they brought in a 700, 750, and an 800, and whichever fits the best is what they go with. And they went with the 800 because it actually fit really good under my skin. It's a silicone implant. In the United States, 800 cc's is the largest. Last time I checked, which was November 2014, that was the largest amount of fluid or silicone gel you can get in an implant in the United States. I did not go with saline because some insurances will actually not cover saline. And of course, if you go with saline, you can get even bigger. I mean, when you see these women with huge breasts, they've had implants, they're using saline at that point, because you can fill them up to pretty larger numbers. I do think there is one facility in California that is able to do that based on some of the research I did. But so basically I ended up with 800 cc's, which puts me right around a 38 double D. So if obviously, also the one thing I want to tell you is I actually got to keep my nipples. So I still have nipples. It's called nipple sparing surgery. So I had a nipple sparing bilateral mastectomy. A lot of women elect to have those removed, and or if the tumor was close to the nipple, or if you were a larger stage, there's a good chance you would lose your nipple. And some women just want to get rid of it anyway, because the reality is the tissue around the nipple is breast tissue. And so by keeping that, you do run the risk of potentially having cancer come back on the nipple, because that is breast tissue. Even though all the other breast tissue is gone, that areola part is still considered breast tissue, and a tumor could come back there. So some women don't want to deal with that, and or the tumor was too close and it had to go, or their staging was much higher. I was stage 1. The tumor was less than a centimeter and was up against my chest wall, close to the sternum, kind of up high. So I was given the option, do you want to keep them or not? And I decided to keep them. The reason why I even wore bras is you really don't have to, although gravity can actually affect you even with implants, believe it or not. It's because I had nipples, and so I don't want to walk around showing off those all the time. So that's why I even decided to get bras. Because really, I don't need them, but in any case, I have them. So I wanted to bring that information to you, and let you know that there's options out there. Call your insurance, ask as many questions as possible. My experience was pretty good in terms of using tissue expanders and going through the exchange surgery, which I did back in November. Sometimes it doesn't happen for everybody. Another question I'm asked is, does insurance cover it? Yes, they do. There was a law passed in the 90s that if you have breast cancer, you do have the right to have implants placed in if you want, and it is covered by almost all insurances in the United States. I mean, if you have an insurance that doesn't cover it, definitely appeal that decision, have the hospital support you